Welcome to Homebrew Wednesday for May 30th. Just gonna go over a few quick things today. The ale that we did over the weekend is in the fermenter and clipping along pretty well. It's been in primary for 3.5 days now. This is Tuesday night. Filming Tuesday night, so I won't be around Wednesday night. In the video, if you watch the video, I believe I misspoke and said 57, and then edited the text and said I was going to ferment that at 59 Fahrenheit. And on doing a little more reading and making up my mind there within about 10 minutes of that, I had adjusted my my controller to 16.5 plus or minus 1. So it's running from 15.5 to 17.5 would be the range that it's running. That's Celsius. And so it's running from somewhere around 59.5 to probably 63 Fahrenheit. And then one of the things with this controller that only did Celsius, a lot of people had some issues with that. I haven't printed out the whole thing, but I just took an index card and listed some of the really low ones, but for the most part I listed from 10 Celsius through 23 Celsius and what it equaled. That pretty much covers most of the range that I'm going to need for brewing, and so I figured that was enough for that. Like I said, this isn't going to be a long and involved Homebrew Wednesday, but we are going to do a pour and a tasting on my batch number 4 American IPA. Now, this IPA is a little off class, and most of my beer are off a class for some reason or another. This one, because Brewsmith didn't even really have all the information. There's a little bit of barley, not much, a quarter pound maybe less, and about a quarter pound of oats as well. But this was a batch that I made with some ingredients that I wasn't sure just how fresh the liquid malt extract was. I'd gotten it in a kit when I bought a bunch of stuff from a guy, and but I was going to use it anyway, and so I wanted to add a little bit of freshness to it. And so there's a little bit of malt in there that isn't in the recipe, but there's enough hops in there that it still certainly qualifies. And so we're going to go ahead and give that a pop here. Fairly decent sound there. I do have a little bit of smoke there. This is a glass I got from my brother-in-law who lives in Germany. It's one of my favorite beer glasses at the moment. Let's see what we get here. And we won't be pouring all this because this is a 22 ounce bottle. And I probably poured myself a little more head there than I was gonna, but that's okay. The head's got at least a tan color, a little darker. Definitely hops on the nose. This was mostly whole leaf hops. It was primarily Cascade. Its color, not a lot of backlight there. It's pretty dark. It's more brown than red. It's not very clear. I did not take any steps to clarify this. I didn't use my Whirlflock at all in this. This batch was not really built for aesthetics. It was built for consumption to get me through, so that I would leave my stout alone. Probably next week I'm going to have to film another one after this, because next week I won't be around either, but I'm going to film the Homebrew Wednesday before then. But I have my stout that needed more time to develop, and it's pretty close now, but I need something to drink in between. This ended up as a 7-1, definitely got more of the malt has come through as it's gotten a little more bottle conditioned. And I'm really starting to like this one. This one, like I said, was mostly alcohol to fill the gap between my brew in a bag batch and my next batch. Yeah, this one has turned out to be a lot better than I had hoped for, because basically I had two different cans of extract. One was pre-hopped, one wasn't. I had a bag of DME. I threw away the hops that came with the kit because they were pretty old. I took the hops out and threw those away because they weren't very good. As far as yeast, I put this on. This was the first time I ever did that. I put this on a yeast cake. I had just racked off of the US-05 Safe Ale, and I have to say that I'm very happy with the way this one came out. Cheers, 17. For a while, what I was doing with that is I was doing a blend with my stout, which was still overly sweet. And it's a sweet stout, and it's still sweet, and it's always gonna be sweet. It was built as a sweet stout, and it's very sweet. But when it was still really immature, it was distractingly sweet. And this one was distractingly hoppy. It bit you back. It's mellowed a lot. The malt has started to creep forward a little bit in that, and that one's come up to a nice balance. But what I was doing is I was blending those 50-50 to one day a week or so ago when I was blending them, and after drinking it down, I poured the IPA in and got to doing something, probably watching somebody's cast on JTV. And if you don't know who to watch on JTV and you're watching my video, go to 17crew.com. Find the list of casters and when everybody's casting, and there's almost every day of the week somebody's casting some time of the day. But certainly from like Thursday through Sunday, there's a pretty solid schedule of folks on there. At some point I will squirrel away some time and start casting myself. But back to, I was obviously paying attention to something else, grabbed it and started drinking it, and realized that I hadn't added the stout to it, and decided this has come a long ways, this is pretty good. Finished it, so then I drank the last of the stout out of the other bottle, and was pretty happy with that. It found that it's come a long ways as well. Okay, so basically some of the stuff we've accomplished this week, for the most part, is my mini fridge was on a caster, and it was moving around. There was really no space here for it. It's in its spot. I built a little countertop above it. It's not fancy woodworking or anything, but it does give me a place to keep my stuff out here in the garage, and started to work on the brew cave here, and it's come along quite nicely. Next out, I think I'm going to add another piece of countertop here, and I need to add some higher up racks for my buckets and pans and such. But that's how the brew cave's coming along. The beer was very good. Once again, cheers, 17.